Welcome to Lecto. Today we are going to discuss the structures of the heart. Basically, in Greek language, heart is called cardia, and in Latin language, it is called core. Here you can see Greek language cardia, from which the word cardiac is derived from it, and in Latin we called it core, from which the coronary word is derived from the core. Basically, heart is formed by the cardiac muscles. Here you can see the structure of the cardiac muscles, right? And they are actually striated, means different lines are present over the heart muscles, cardiac muscles, and they are actually in the form of branch, right? And here you can see different disc, which is called the intercalated disc, which is shown by the green color, present at the different levels. It means it separates the two cells of the myocardium, right? Here you can see this is the junction between the heart cells, right, which is called intercalated disc. It actually a fusion of the two plasma membrane, right? Actually cell is surrounded by the plasma membrane, right? And when the plasma membrane of the two cells get infused together, they form an intercalated disc, right? It's not a channel, and different proteins attach to cells of the heart, right? And it forms a intercalated disc, and several ions and materials can move between this junction, right? And normally here you can see different nucleus present in the cells of the heart, right? So on the basis of first of all we discuss the two terms, which is very much important for the concept of intercalated disc, and why we called heart muscles as syncytium, right? Actually, syncytium means when the different cells having nucleus in it. Here you can see 4 different cells get fused and form a single one. Is called, this process is called syncytium, right? And synocytic means when a single cell having a nucleus in it, this nucleus divide into further. It means one nucleus divide into two nucleus divide into 4, right? It means single cell, cell remain single, but the nucleus will divide further. This is the synocytic, right? In that situation, several heart cells form a syncytium, because they actually form a here you can see different cells arranged, right? And they can exchange material between themselves, just like this one, right? It means just like single cell, right? It means if the material pass through these cells, can pass through these cells, it means there is no difference between the different cells of the heart. It means it acts as a syncytium, right? So this is basically we call heart muscles as the syncytium, right? Let's see what components are present in the heart. Let's see. First of all, this is the structures of the heart, right? And there are 4 chambers. 2 upper chambers. Here is the 2 upper chamber which is the atria, and there is the 2 ventricles present below the atria, right? And here you can see this is the inferior vena cava, right, which collect deoxygenated blood from the lower extremities, right? And here you can see, I show it with blue color so you can understand it is deoxygenated blood coming from the different part. Inferior vena cava collect blood from lower extremities, right? And this collect blood from the upper part of the body, superior vena cava, and both of them open into the right atrium. Right atrium. Here you can see this open over here, right? And there is a valve, right, between the right atrium and right ventricle, which is called tricuspid valve. Means three flaps are present in this valve, right? Here you can see this valve is basically attached with the muscles which is called the papillary muscles. Here are these are the papillary muscles, right? And these papillary muscles are joined with the tricuspid valve with a cord-like structures, right, which is called cordae tendineae, right? And due to the presence of these muscles, actually the valve form a three flaps, right, with the help of these cordae tendineae, right? And then the blood move into the right ventricle, right? And then after flowing into the right ventricle, blood will move into the pulmonary trunk, right? This one through another valve, right? Here another valve, which is the SEMILUNER valve of the pulmonary trunk, right? And here blood move into, right? Then here, from it the blood move into the lungs, right? Keep remember what is the difference between the artery and the vein. Artery we call artery if the blood vessels carry blood away from the heart, right? And we call veins when it carry blood towards the heart, right? So actually these blood vessels carry blood away from the heart. We call it artery, pulmonary artery, right? And there is deoxygenated blood in the artery, right? This is an exception case. All arteries carry oxygenated blood, and veins carry deoxygenated blood, but this is a special case. Keep remember pulmonary. If the word pulmonary attached with the artery, then we have to remember that the pulmonary veins contain oxygenated blood and pulmonary artery contains deoxygenated blood. Here is the pulmonary artery and it will move into the lungs, and from lungs it get oxygenated and then again move back to the heart through the pulmonary vein, in which here are 4 pulmonary veins, right? And these 4 pulmonary veins will open into the left atrium, right? It will move into the left atrium, and when it move into the left atrium, it will again move into the left ventricle, right? And if you hear, there is an other valve which is called the bicuspid valve, right? Which is called bicuspid because 2 flaps, or it is also called mitral valve, right? And here again there are the papillary muscles which are present in the ventricle, and different cords like structure attach the valve with the papillary muscles, and here you can see the cordae tendineae and here papillary muscles. Then the blood flow into the left ventricle, and after left ventricle it will move into the aorta, right? And aorta also contain the valve which is the semilunar, half moon-like valve which is present at the junction of the beginning of the aorta, and the blood will move into the aorta, right? Actually, aorta, right? Ascending aorta will divide into four, right? Four blood vessels will arise from the aorta. First one is actually the left subclavian artery, right? It means it's derived from the heart. And second is the left common carotid artery, LCCA, left common carotid artery, right? And here is third one, which is called Brachiocephalic Trunk, which is called, here this is the structure which is called Brachiocephalic Trunk. Actually, this trunk divide into two, right subclavian artery and right common carotid artery. Just like here is the left subclavian artery, here is the right subclavian artery, here is the left common carotid artery, here is the right common carotid artery. It supplies blood upper part of the body, and then the blood will move downward through the descending aorta, right here. This is the descending aorta, and it provides blood to the lower parts of the body, right? So this is the basic information about the components of the heart, right? Keep remember there are four chambers. Right side chamber, which is called atrioventricular chamber, tricuspid, and left side is the bicuspid, and at the junction of the pulmonary trunk and the aorta are the semilunar valves, right? Just like four chambers are present in the heart, four valves are present in the heart, right? So next we will see how conduction occur in the heart, right? Here you can see this is the SA node, sinoatrial node, right? And here you can see AV node, atrioventricular node. Actually, heart pump itself. It does not require any help from the brain, right? It pumps itself. On the basis of this, we call heart muscles as myogenic. It's self-generating, right? But actually, brain can increase or decrease, influence the function of the heart, right? But it doesn't help in the generation of the impulses, right? Sinoatrial node, right? And signal arises from sinoatrial node, and it will travel to the different parts of the heart. Here you can see, which is shown by the red color, right? Signal travel to the left atrium and to the AV node, atrioventricular node, right? The signal which is travel to the atrium through the different bundles, right? And AV node will also travel the signal to the, here is the two ventricle and the interventricular septum. This is actually the junction between the two ventricles, right? Two bundles are involved in the conduction of the impulse. Here the bundles which are involved in the conduction from SA node to the atrium is called Beckman bundle, right? Beckman bundles are involved in the conduction of the signal from SA node to the left atrium, and here AV node will pass the signal to the interventricular septum through the bundle which is called bundle of His. Bundle of His, right? Here, bundle of His, different fibers travel through this septum, and at the end it will divide into two, left branch and right branch, right? Here you can see it will divide into the left and the right branch, and different branches arise from it, right? And at the end there is a fiber like which is called Purkinje fibers, right? They are actually arise from the left and the right branch of the bundle of His. So you see that first of all this signal will travel into the two atria, right? It means atria contract simultaneously, right? And first atria contract, right? And when the signal travels into the left and the right ventricle, it means after the contraction of the atria, then the ventricle contract, right? And they will also contract simultaneously, and one right side of the ventricle supply blood to the pulmonary trunk, and the left side will supply blood to the aorta. So this is the basic structure of the heart. Next we will see what layers of the heart are present in it, and lot of students get confused about the layers of the heart. After watching this lecture, you will be able to understand what layers are present in the heart and how they perform and what function they perform in the heart. Let's see here. Actually, we will start from the outside. This is the inside and this is the outside of the heart. First of all, outside of the heart is present is the pericardium. Pericardium. Here you can see, which is shown by the black line. This layer is called fibrous pericardium, right? And after that there are two layers, right, which is shown by the blue color: parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium, right? And between these, parietal means outside and visceral means inside, and between these layers there is a cavity, and between in between two layers there is a cavity and which having fluid in it, right? Fluid in it, which is called pericardial fluid. There is a fluid between, right? And these two layers, parietal pericardium and visceral pericardiums, are basically the serous membrane, right? And because they are in direct contact with the pericardial fluid. And actually, remember, this is very much important. Visceral pericardium, also called epicardium. There is another name of the visceral pericardium, which is the epicardium, right? And after that there is a huge mass of the muscles, which is the myocardium. This layer, this is the actually the thickest layer of the heart, which is the myocardium. And after that is the endocardium, which is present inside of the heart, right? So here you see what layers are present in it. First, if we remind that outer is the fibrous pericardium, then parietal pericardium, then cavity, and then the visceral pericardium. Visceral pericardium, also called the epicardium, and then myocardium, and then the endocardium, right? So this is the basic structures of the different layers of the heart, and which provide in the contraction and reduce in the friction which is produced by the heart. So this is all about the structure of the heart. If you have any question, then you may ask in the comment section. Thank you.